Look at the Irish, my ass, my nose, my nose, my nose. What the fuck happened in Ireland, man? There was no Lucky Charms. There was no Lucky the What up, world? 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 This is Main Man. I am DJ Double Dose, man, coming at you with another episode of Double Dose of Reality Sports, man. And god damn, we had football, y'all. Jeez, I got on this motherfucker and I said, hey, this is what I expected. This is what I wanted to happen. This is what I wanted to see. And I got highly disappointed. The title is FSU Got Destroyed. Now, there's a lot of different directions we can go with this show. You know, I normally don't single out because, you know, we try. I mean, everybody knows who I'm a fan of. I mean, that goes without saying. But I try not to make it singularly focused. But after last year, after the views we got and the things that happened after the LSU game, if you gonna dish it out, your ass gotta motherfucking take it. I can't go on here last year after beating LSU and come on here and have a whole show dedicated to the opening game and not do the same in a loss. Listen, I hear everybody. You know, I think the most disappointing thing in all of this game that happened to me, it was two things. Number fucking one. Everybody and their mama knew. They knew what the hell Georgia Tech was going to come into this game and do. Everybody knew this. This isn't revisionist history. This isn't Monday morning quarterbacking. This isn't, oh, I'm just trying to just say the same thing that's been tried and true. We knew for an entire off season when this game, we knew what Georgia Tech was going to walk into this game and do. So it wasn't a surprise. Haynes King actually only threw the damn ball 16 times. 16 times. That breaks down to what? 4 passes a quarter. So I ask you, did anything shock you from what Georgia Tech did? No, it did not. It didn't. That was disappointing. The second thing that was disappointing was, if I had to say, it legitimately had to be the lack of effort and urgency. Listen, we can get into the X's and O's if y'all want to do that on a later show, that's fine. I mean, we don't have to do that, but if you want to get into that on a later show, that's perfectly fine. But just from watching it and watching the rewatch, it almost looked like after that first drive, we had this sense of, hey, y'all been talking about us all season. Boom, boom, fucking boom. Down the field, zip, 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 first drive, easy money. Went down the field, score with no problem. And got a fucking 2-point conversion to boot. So you looking at it and you're saying to yourself, you know what? We good to go. It's 8-0. And what did Georgia Tech do? They politely said, okay. That didn't rush them. that didn't change anything that they did. I think, if I'm not mistaken, their very first play, they gained 18 to 20 yards. They did. And they methodically marched their ass right down the field with little to no resistance and scored. So at that point, this is just me, my observation from afar. I want to say at that point, I think my team, my coach, some of the players was just like, oh shit. They came to play. That first drive didn't shake them. And why should it? It was the first drive of the damn game. It shouldn't have shook them. And they knew they was getting the ball at the halftime. So why should that drive have shook them? It didn't. And from there, we proceeded to watch our defensive line along with our offensive line. You know, you hear it all the time. You hear people say, oh man, the game is running the trenches. Get my show that I'm on, co-host Renard, he would say it all the time. It was almost like rinse and repeat. We would talk about the game, and the first thing he would say was the game is won in the trenches. The game is won in the trenches. And nothing was more evident in this game than that. I mean, it really was. There's really no other way you can go around it. There's no other way you can really say it. There's no other way for you to frame it. Because at the end of the day, we can look at all the nerd stats. We can look at all the analytics, but you know what your eyes saw. And your eyes saw one team moving another team on both sides of the ball. That is what your eyes saw. Georgia Tech said, you know what? After their first drive, they said, you know what? Fuck it. If y'all gonna run the ball on us like this, then we just finished. Then you know what? We gonna strap up and we gonna gear up to stop the run. And that's what they did. And they proceeded to do that from that point on. And if you go and you look at the rest of that game and you look at the team totals, because I'm going to give them to you. I can give it to you right now. You look at the team totals. FSU had a total rushing amount of 98 yards. $98 fucking yards. And I guarantee you, if we were to go and peel it apart, of that 98 yards, probably between 30 and 40 of that, give or take, because Toafiti's run was a 28-yard TD. So just off that alone, that was 28. So let that sink in. We ain't even got to dig into the further. Just let that sink in. We only had 98 yards rushing. Toafiti's touchdown run was 28. So for the rest of the game, we proceeded to run for 70 fucking yards in 4 quarters of football. You know what that tells me? That tells me that Georgia Tech got to a point where they just said, hey, sometimes when you know you are not the better team, you got to do what works for you. And they said, hey, you know what? We know what works for us. And what works for us is we ain't finna let y'all run the ball on us. If you throw it, Godspeed. Throw the damn ball. We don't believe it. So let's get to the next topic that a lot of y'all are hitting at, because this ain't gonna be long. DJU. I'm not even gonna try to pronounce the last name because I'm not finna fuck it up. DJU. Let me ask you guys something, because I've seen this on post after post. I am in about 5 or 6 Florida State groups, Twitter, X, IG, YouTube, everywhere. Y'all please explain to me Why are you blaming DJU? Why? We knew what we were getting when we got DJU. Did DJU play spectacular? No, he did not. Did DJU cost us the game? No, he did not. And the fact that half of y'all are either sitting around here crying, hollering about, oh, he needs to go. Oh, he's not the answer. Hollering about, oh, well, he missed this read. Name me a quarterback that don't miss reads in a game. Please, because I would like to know the perfect quarterback. There isn't one. But what did we ask of this man to do? We asked this man to give us what? What I said in the preview. Give us about 200 yards passing, maybe a couple TDs, but mainly don't play hero ball and don't turn my ball over. That's what we asked this man to do. And that is exactly what he did. He didn't play hero ball and he didn't turn the ball over. But yet, here we are on, as of two, I waited. I just wanted to see the fallout. I waited. I could have did this show on Saturday night, but I was drunk, so I wasn't going to do it then. It wasn't going to be very articulate. Just saying. I waited, and I continue to see post after post after post blaming DJU. And for what? Was he great? No, he wasn't great. He wasn't great, but he was the reason why we lost this game. I'm going to ask you this question. Ask yourself this. If you think that DJU was the problem, we tied the game up. That man completed 2 or 3 crucial 4th downs on the last drive we had the ball. Got us in the end zone, tied the score up. It was over 6 minutes left. The offense didn't see the ball again. I'll wait. The offense didn't see the ball again. The last time this man had the ball in his hands in a critical situation, because the game was on the line. Obviously, we was in the 4th quarter. We had to tie the game up. The game was on the line. We had already seen up until that point how ass the defense was. So the game was literally on the line, even though it was early in the 4th. The game was literally on the line. While said game was on the line, the last possession this man had, what did DJU do? He drove us down the field, and we scored a touchdown to tie the game up. So how in the hell, and it was over 6 minutes left, how is it that man's fault? You want to tell me he missed some couple of passes? Okay, well, we had some drop passes too. I don't see y'all calling for these other people. What, you blaming him because he wasn't there last year and you don't want to blame your beloved defense? The beloved D-line that we was told was, if not the best, one of the best defensive lines in the ACC, could have had an argument for being one of the best defensive lines in the nation? No, that's who you, that's part of who you blame. The second part of who you blame is our linebackers, the ones that played, and there were several that didn't. I'm sure when we play Boston College, we're probably going to see a little different lineup at linebacker, I'm sure. But this is a team blame, and DJU is the last person on the totem pole to blame for this loss. Not to mention, Mike took accountability for it. He handcuffed him. You brought the guy here. You didn't bring him here to do what you could have done with Brock Glenn or with Luke Romano. You brought him here. He's a senior. Let him air the ball out. Georgia Tech didn't respect it because you wasn't calling any shot plays outside of the one play that he missed Ja'Kai on. It was a bad throw. Ja'Kai, if he hits Ja'Kai in stride, he's probably walking into the end zone. But I can turn around and argue that point back and be like with Cam. He hit Cam in the hands, Cam dropped it. That was a big gain if Cam catches that. I.e. could have been a touchdown. We don't know. But the point I'm making is there were errors on his part, but there was errors on the team part, and it was error in the plays that were being called. So don't sit here and blame this kid, because ultimately he wasn't the reason. He was the reason why we lost. If you ever want to point the blame or you want to look at one particular group and say, hey, this is the reason why we lost, you ain't got to look no further than the fact that that defense of line and that front seven, we're just going to frame it like that. That front seven knew what to expect. Georgia Tech led the ACC in rushing last year. They led the ACC in rushing last year. They returned 4 of their 5 starters on the offensive line, plus that 1,000-yard rusher and a running quarterback. So it wasn't a fucking surprise what they were going to do, but you allowed it to happen. Now, you go back to the drawing board. Big picture, as we close this out. Big picture. Because the game is over, you have to move on. It's a loss. It sucks. But I ask you 2 questions, and then we're going to do big picture. On this show, we never had FSU going undefeated. You know, everything I say is documented. So I don't have to go back. I don't have to do one of those numbers where I got to go back and backtrack and be like, oh, no. Folks can be like, you said this. No, I didn't. Said we'd be 10-2. Nah, I ain't say that one of the 2 losses was going to be Georgia Tech. But I also didn't say we were going undefeated. Number one. So if you were a fan who thought for some reason, I don't know why, that you thought this team was going to go back-to-back undefeated season, maybe you are punching air and you throwing shit and you mad. Maybe you are. Did it suck to lose Georgia Tech? Hell yeah, it sucked to lose Georgia Tech. But ultimately, nothing has changed with your goals. I know people want to say the sky's falling, like Josh Pate said. Do you believe in the 12-team playoff or not? Because if you believe in the 12-team playoff, then this loss don't mean shit. Because I don't think Georgia Tech is going to run the table in the ACC. I don't think Miami will run the table in the ACC, nor do I think Clemson will either. So with that being said, yeah, does it suck to get the first loss? Of course it does. But in the grand scheme of things, man, your season is still, everything you plan for is still in front of you. Now, you don't have room for error at this point because you don't. You can't go out here and lose to Boston College. Go out here and lose to Boston College this week and fall 0-2 in the conference. Hey, now then it's a wrap because you're not going to be able to climb out that hole. And you 0-2. You ain't going to be able to climb out that hole. So I hate to be on the, hey, the next game is a must win, but unfortunately, because you don't have a cupcake and because of the way your schedule shapes out, it's a second conference game. So if the niggas, if everybody needed their attention, it's there now because you know this Boston College game is a must win. Like you can't go 0. Now at that point, everything everybody said is correct. You can't go 0-2 in the conference. This is not a good, but I know they have Castellanos. He's a great athlete. But at the end of the day, for everybody who thinks the sky's falling, ask yourself, how good is Boston College's offensive line? How great do you think Boston College's offense as a whole is? Yes, they have Castellanos, of course. And yes, Vegas can be wrong. They was just wrong this past week because they had us projected to 10.5-point favorite. But do you really think that Vegas is going to be wrong 2 weeks in a row? So for everybody who just, you think all them hotels and everything got built in Vegas just off them being wrong all the time? Will Boston College push us? Of course they will. But Boston College don't run the same offense Georgia Tech runs. Boston College isn't experienced as Georgia Tech. So, yes, Castellanos is going to do some shit in this game that's going to frustrate us, just like he did last year. But ultimately, you have to go out and control what you can control. Squeeze the pocket. Because, I mean, let's be honest. Haynes King didn't do a lot of scramble drill. The stuff he ran was design runs. You just didn't stop it. Bill O'Brien, now granted, you know, coaches, they chatter. Coach speak. Bill O'Brien has said he wants to try to make Castellanos a better passer. I think that's the same shit he tried to do with Milroe in Alabama. So Bill O'Brien has a certain offense that he runs. I don't think on that offense it has a whole bunch of QB design runs. Now, will Castellanos do some things that are going to frustrate us? Of course he will. But ultimately, it is what it is. So Florida State was truly destroyed. I mean, and I say destroyed because you allowed a team to do exactly what you allowed a team to dictate the pace. They were able to do the things that they wanted to do. At the end of the day, the sky isn't falling. Season isn't over. It was week 0. Now, do you have wiggle room? Not much. But I firmly still believe that a 6-2 team can make it to the ACC title game. Because the way this season is going to go, as you just saw, y'all little darlings, SMU, in case you stayed up late after you got through with your jokes about FSU, yeah, they needed a mistake from Nevada at the very end to finally take control of that game and pull it out late in the 4th. Nevada's not a good team, people. So just saying, everybody's going to have some problems this year. So FSU fans, look up. It's a new day. We got a new week. It's Boston College. We got another prime time single game. It's just us on Monday night. I won't have Rome. He was with me on Saturday. Bless my son, because I had to watch that game sober. So I had to take all of that in because we had a birthday party to go to when the game was over. So Monday night, Labor Day, prime time is us against Boston College. All the people who lost on Saturday and all the people who lost on Sunday, they going to be keyed in again. All the winners, they going to be keyed in too because, again, it's singular game on Monday night. So hats off to my nose. We no-blooded, veil on the trail, feel the spear, and all that. Live, laugh, and love, man. Live your life to the fullest. Love on the people that love you back. Find you something to laugh at each and every day. And go Noles, man.